Kulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tawengavengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news, school children face major anxiety problems in Fiji. Partial quarantine at CWM after baby deaths. And cement production goes into overdrive to meet demands.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Anxiety is an issue for most children in schools around the country. This was an issue raised when 15 small island states met for an early childhood education development workshop in Nadi today. At the workshop, our Education Ministry confirmed receiving complaints about anxiety, especially concerning children of poor academic background. Ropate Valeme reports.
Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says that with the high prevalence of anxiety in schools, teachers should be equipped on how to deal with it.
Often we tend to treat every child as same, but these children originate from different households, different challenges, different backgrounds.
Dr. Reddy says anxiety is a special phobia that teachers do not realize. He says teachers tend to push blame on these children without knowing what they are going through.
So how do teachers identify that anxiety that exists in children? How do we separate out and how do we develop specific skills sets to deal with them?
Meanwhile, USP Dean for the Faculty of Arts, Law and Education, Dr. Akanisi Kendrayati says education should begin from the foundation.
If only we go back to the foundation of education system and strengthen that. You know, what we're talking about there, the literacy problem in classes 3 and 4, and, all those, will, be addressed.
After the deliberation today on a framework, the 15 small island development states in the region will soon have a curriculum for early childhood education. Ropate Valeme, FBC News.
4 infants have died in the last 23 days in the neonatal intensive care unit of CWM Hospital. According to a Ministry of Health statement, the deceased infants all had severe pre-existing life-threatening conditions and subsequent blood and spinal fluids tests showed they had contracted the Acinetobacter baumannii bacteria. The ministry maintains that there is no evidence that this bacteria, which is widespread in hospitals around the world, caused the deaths of the infants. A partial quarantine has now been activated as a precaution in sections of the NICU. This comes after the ministry confirmed an outbreak in March, where 7 severely sick premature babies had also died, and tests revealed the presence of the same bacteria. Those tests were then sent abroad for further analysis. So far, no results have been announced. Permanent Secretary for Health Philip Davies says they're taking every action to minimize the risk of bacterial infection. The Tenji Cement Company Limited is producing 600 tons of cement daily to meet the current market demand. The company says they are producing cement 24 hours a day. Pranita Prakash reports.
The company has acquired more clinkers, a raw material used to produce cement from Pacific Cement Limited, to continue its production.
Production now going normal from last week Saturday. So we already get around 4,500 ton clinker from Pacific Cement, and now every day we can produce 600 ton cement and sell to every customer.
While efforts are being made to solve the shortage, construction companies are facing difficulties in completing their project. There's a construction company is currently constructing a $12 million holiday apartment in Nadi, and shortage of cement supply has put a lot of strain on their project.
In the last 2 weeks, we have only received 1 ton of cement, and that's not enough for us to do the plaster works, concreting works, and all the extra works we have to do, patching. And also there's a shortage in ready mix as well.
The project manager claims they will not be able to complete their project on time.
A major hold-up at the moment, we can't get the roof beams up because of the concrete, they can't supply the quantity in one go. There's all the flooring works has to be on hold. It was supposed to be completed in late September, but at this rate, I believe they're saying it will take another 3 months. So
Deo says if there is not enough cement supply in the market, they may have to lay off around 15 staff as they will not be able to sustain them. Meanwhile, Tenji Cement Limited hopes to increase cement production as the 24,000 tons of new clinkers ordered by them is expected to arrive in the country next week. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Closing submissions in the rape trial of Pastor Chone Vakanuto were heard in the Suva High Court this morning. The defense claimed the state has not been able to prove its case. However, the prosecution argued there's no doubt that Vakanuto raped 4 women of his church congregation over a period of 13 years. Shireen Shivan has more.
Defense counsel Simeone Valenitambua believes there were inconsistencies in the evidence produced in court by the prosecution in the 2-week-long trial and claims the 4th prosecution witness was forced to give evidence. Valenitambua pointed out that the court should take into account that all 4 witnesses had agreed giving consent to the pastor for sex and says none of them were pressured by Dokanauto. The defense counsel also says that at no point of time the Jezreel Line of Judah church leader related John chapter 4 from the Bible to sexual acts. On the accusations of being the father of the first alleged victim's child, the counsel says the child's birth certificate says otherwise. He also says that none of the victims came forward to report the matter to police until 2015. However, prosecution argued the 4 women who were young girls at the time did not know that the men they looked up to made them vulnerable for his sexual pleasure. Prosecutor Meli Vosawale says he does not see any reason why all the 4 victims will lie in court, saying the pastor had made them believe that redeeming process was something that needed to be done. Judge Justice Salesitemo will sum up the case tomorrow morning, following which the 3 assessors will retire after giving their verdict. Shireen Shivan, FBC News.
Still to come, Korotari residents get new bridge. And Fijians joining Queen's birthday celebrations. Details after the break.
Nimbula binaka na yalangunga andi moala rarara ranalika o tikonga na tao na singatoka ando talitaka na bakaronga ng Bula FM number 2 na sere.
Ya dora subuli kurna bili. Ibora ni batu karahan para binaranga. Do talitakin na bakaronga ng Bula FM number 2 na sere. Bula.
Bula FM number 2 na sere.
Decades of crossing the river to take their produce to the market or send their children to school have come to an end for the people of 4 settlements and 2 villages in Korotari and Lambasa. This follows the opening of a suspension bridge by the government. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports.
The lives of the people in this small community in Korotari outside Lambasa has now changed forever. No longer will they struggle to cross the Korotari River to access the market, schools and any other services in Lambasa town.
We've been staying here for the past 20 years and it's quite difficult for us to take our children across to school when it's rainy weather due to strong currents.
One, there was a big absenteeism in Korotari Primary School, but that is solved, that problem now, this bridge, so it's a blessing for the people of Korotari.
This $557,000 bridge will transform the local economy and improve the lives of more than 500 people.
This bridge will reduce travel times to markets, improve accessibility to facilities and services in towns and nearby centers, as well as facilitating social engagements.
The demand for the project was identified by Children of Fiji Charity in August 2004 to provide children attending the Korotari area primary school safe access across the river. They then sought the support of Reach for Your Future Foundation to raise funds for its construction. The governments of Fiji and Australia then pitched in to help.
The students of Korotari school, your attendance will no longer be disrupted, and there will be no more abandoning of classes.
Construction of the bridge started in 2016 but was delayed due to Tropical Cyclone Winston. Eleanor Turanegio, FBC News.
Around 300 civil servants and representatives of NGOs and corporate services are taking part in the Northern Division Government Roadshow. The show is aimed at sharing information with the residents of the rural and maritime zones. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama said he is aware of the challenges faced by people in these areas to access government services.
Government has an obligation and is committed to continuing with its development programs, both within the urban and the rural communities. Whilst government is playing its part in development, a reciprocal approach is also required from the communities and must be adopted to ensure it is meaningful and far-reaching.
The 5 registered opposition political parties have given their comprehensive submission to the Fiji Electoral Commission. The parties say the submission contains over 120 recommendations for the Commission on the need to have proper electoral laws and processes for 2018. Savara Tambor reports.
Representatives from the 5 political parties met with election commissioners at the Elections Office on June the 16th and was concluded with assurance by the Commission that it would respond to the joint submission by end of the month. Dr. Bimon says the submissions was based on the recommendations made by the Multinational Observer Group and Electoral Commission Annual Report 2014.
The 5 parties intend to submit their proposal for electoral reform to the Parliamentary Committee on Law, Justice and Human Rights, the President, the Prime Minister and other relevant entities as part of the advocacy in ensuring the elections 2018 are free and fair for all parties concerned and the nation as a whole and the people of this country.
The 5 political parties also intend to submit their proposal to the Parliamentary Committee on Law, Justice and Human Rights.
The ability for the Electoral Commission to make changes are there, including legislative. So they cannot just say that it's Parliament's job. They can actually affect change themselves, and that's what we're appealing to, and hope that the members of the media will appeal to the same and inform the public of the ability of the Electoral Commission to be able to do this.
The 5 political parties are Social Democratic Liberal Party, National Federation Party, Fiji Labour Party, People's Democratic Party and Fiji United Freedom Party. Sabara Tambua, FBC News.
Britain's Queen Elizabeth's birthday reception was held last night in Suva with the who's who of Fijian society turning up. While it was an occasion to celebrate the long-held ties between Fiji and the United Kingdom, it was also a time to get up close and personal with the Scottish rugby team in their kilts and for some to kiss a boot. Maggie Boyle with the highlights.
For Queen and country, an ode to the 91 years of the English monarch and also a time to celebrate our intertwined history.
For the United Kingdom, we certainly see ourselves as strategic partners in the Pacific. Each of you has been invited here tonight because you have contributed in some way to the deepening of this very special relationship. We see the Pacific as family, in good times and in bad.
And with the Scotland rugby team on hand in their kilts, anything was possible.
Tradition that we always do at the end is get the most beautiful girl in the room to kiss the end of the boot. So if we can just...
Chief Protocol Officer Nimi Loweni adamant that the Fiji-UK relationship will only strengthen.
Fiji and the United Kingdom have enjoyed long-standing relations, which we will continue to value and uphold.
A sentiment shared by Britain with development funding to Fiji, one of the highest it's ever been. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Ahead in sports with Jamie, we have all the action from Confederations Cup, but Ritika is up next with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening and coming up. Real estate industry gives budget submission. And in growing Fiji, Vivo estate to open next year. Stay with us.
Ahead in sports with Jamie, boxing battle heats up, but Rachel is up next with business.
Thank you, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight, Burger King talks about expansion plans. And in growing Fiji, agriculture show gets underway in Nosori. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Leading business tonight. Ensuring consumers are protected when buying a home is vital. Too often in the past, home buyers have been tricked into paying too much for a property. Therefore, the Real Estate Licensing Board is hoping the 2017-2018 national budget will introduce consumer protection initiatives to avoid this issue. Pranita Prakash reports.
The Real Estate Agents Licensing Board wants to bring an end to malpractices associated with the industry.
The real estate industry needs in the area of training, particularly for the real estate agents and salesperson, and the review of the current laws.
In order to safeguard buyers and sellers, the Consumer Council of Fiji has made a submission requesting the Real Estate Board be given more authority.
And Real B can make some policies where each and every property that is sold in Fiji, before it is sold, that information is given to Real B. After it is sold, at what price it was sold, that information is again given to Real B.
We are in the process of formulating a policy where the property transaction should remain transparent to the public.
The 2017-2018 national budget will be announced next Thursday. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Vodafone Fiji has picked up yet another international award at the Global Telecoms Business Innovation Awards and Innovation Summit in London last week. The company was recognized in the Business Services Innovation category, receiving an award for the Kiribati infrastructure build with partners Genban. Vodafone Fiji is at the helm of operations for their parent company, Amalgamated Telecom Holdings, started operations in December 2015. ATH Kiribati Limited has upgraded services in Kiribati to 3G and latest 4G networks. And now we look at the international economic scene. Here's Savanada from HFC Bank.
Vinaka, let's look at our economic calendar today. In light of the Bank of New Zealand's interest rate decision, which remained steady at 1.75% this morning, the New Zealand dollar opened stronger today by 26 points against the Fijian dollar. Meanwhile, tomorrow morning, the United States releases its initial jobless figures for the month of May, which are expected to increase from 237,000 to 240,000. Generally speaking, a high reading of the U.S. unemployment figures results in the U.S. dollar weakening. That's the news from the global economic calendar. Back to you.
Thanks, Savanada, for that update. Looking at today's exchange rates, the Fijian dollar weakened against the Chinese yuan and American dollar to close at $3.24 and 47 cents respectively. As for our regional currencies, the Australian dollar strengthened, closing at 62 cents, while the New Zealand and PNG kina weakened to close at 64 cents and $1.32. As for our commodities market, oil prices dropped to close at $42.53 a barrel. Gold rose to close at $1,242 an ounce, and silver followed suit, closing at $16.52 an ounce. In growing Fiji tonight, 16 shops, a supermarket and a large event center will be built at the Vivo estate in Coronivia, Nosori. An $18 million shopping complex is under construction and is expected to be completed by early next year. Savara Tambor reports.
20 acres of land has been utilized for this development.
To set up the event center soon after we open the complex. We're doing it in a very orderly fashion because we believe that there's a huge demand for events in the Nosori Suva area. And we hope to have three categories of event catering. One will be the lower category where people can bring their own food, etc. medium category where we cater partially and they cater partially. And the third category will be all catered for and pretty upmarket, so they can have good weddings and parties and functions, because a lot of overseas people come here now to get married and all that. So
while the contractors are trying their best to meet the deadline, there are a few issues that is hindering development works.
It's the weather, difficulties in the weather, and the second, the main is the workforce, the skilled workers. Skills like the main basic are the carpenter, block layers, plastermen, and all building trade skilled workers.
According to the group chairman, Dean Khan, new shops are expected to open in the second quarter of next year. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
That's business this evening. Now to the latest in sports. Here's Jamie.
Thanks, Ritika, and good evening. Coming up in sports, McKee makes 6 changes to the starting team. An informed Scottish side wary of playing Flying Fijians at home. This and more after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफ्रिकी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टोटो ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
Vodafone Flying Fijians coach John McKee has made 6 changes to his starting team to face Scotland on Saturday. Hooker Sunia Koto takes over from Toapati Talmai Tonga, while Tevita Dhavumbati comes in at lock in place of Api Ratuniarawa. Skipper Kapusingera moves to number 8, while Pedeli Yato gets his starting game at flanker. In the backs, Albert Vuli makes a comeback at outside centre. Joshua Tuisova gets his debut on the right wing, while Patrick Osborne starts on the left. Meanwhile, Vasnil Prasad joins us live now with more from the Flying Fijians camp. Vasnil.
Yes, Jamie, as you've heard, the starting lineup to face Scotland has already been named, and a man who straight away makes into the starting lineup is Tevita Dhavumbati. Thanks, welcome, and partnering with Leonina Karawa once again against Italy. How are you, and how is the momentum?
It's been good. So we've been training really well this week. So it's good to be partnering back with Nakarawa. We complement each other. 2 different players. Plays a bit of a loose, and I play a bit of much better tight. So I think we complement each other in the games.
You're the brother of Fijian legend Bill Dhavumbati, probably looking forward and how forward to carry that Dhavumbati name, and how fortunate are you to be part of the Flying Fijian side and carrying the family legacy?
Yeah, it's a big honor to represent the Dhavumbati family, and also not to forget my mom was a big part of my growth as well, so she was the main reason I'm here.
And apart from that, how's the morale in the team? They left before you face Scotland. 19 years, we haven't beaten them.
Yeah, I think the morale is pretty good. I think this week is probably our best week so far. We've trained really well. The boys are getting all the clarity right, so pretty pleased with the boys right now. Yeah.
There you go. The players are all happy and are eager to take Scotland on Saturday. Jamie.
Meanwhile, Joshua Tuisova and Patrick Osborne have big shoes to fill, replacing Vereniki Ngoneva and Jim Nangusa in the team. Coach John McKee says it was a tough decision to make, but he wants to give the players enough game time before the World Cup qualifiers. Vasnil Prasad again with this report.
The long wait for the Olympic gold medalist and the men dubbed as the Fijian bus, Joshua Tuisova, is over. The Toulon-based winger gets the starting nod with Patrick Osborne, and a lot is expected from them.
Depth we've got in our wings, it's I'm sure a lot of top teams in the world are very envious of Fiji with the wingers that we do have, and you know, with Patrick and Joshua joining the squad last week, you know, training very well. You know, they deserve their opportunity to show their home crowd what they can do.
Also a huge moment for two local halfbacks, Serupepeli Vularika and reserve Henry Saniloli.
They've been very, very good in vocally and running the training this weekend. And I know it's a big task for them this weekend.
Skipper Kapusingera says a lot is at stake.
Just trying to work through a combination, and I know the combination this weekend is pretty much the combination that we were playing through in the last World Cup.
For coach John McKee, despite having big names at his disposal, he needed to come up with a team that was capable of clipping the Scottish wings.
And we want to beat Scotland on Saturday. We're not just giving everyone a run. We've picked a team that I believe can win the game. But then, I'm also balancing up. We've had some players who have had heavy workloads in the previous 2 weeks.
Being the last home test of the year, the players know this is also the last chance to impress before the team for the World Cup qualifiers is named. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Flying Fijians prop Kalivati Tawake is ready for his second start in a test match. The soldier has big shoes to fill with veteran Kampizi Maafu not available for this Saturday's match. Vashnil Prasad again.
Suva prop Kalivati Tawake has a baptism of fire against Italy last week, and now he is ready to go one step better this weekend.
It's a good experience for me, and this week I'll try to do better.
A lot will be expected from Tawake, who replaces talented Kampizi Maafu, who is not in the team due to the death of his father.
Kampizi Maafu is currently not with the team right now. He's with his family, and it'll be good for me to rub shoulders with the senior players.
One player the Scots are talking up is Leone Nakarawa.
They think they know how I play, but for me, I'm not worrying about that. I'm just worrying at what's the Fiji team will bring this week.
The offload king has called on the fans to come out in numbers as the national team tries to break its 19-year winless drought against Scotland.
Fiji fans to support the boys, just like they came to support the Super Rugby teams back in, I think, 2 months ago, the Chiefs and the Crusaders.
Meanwhile, the team will be wearing black armbands in the match as a show of respect of passing of Maafu's dead. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
The Fiji Rugby Union is urging fans again to support the Flying Fijians at home when they take on Scotland. FRU Chief Executive John O'Connor says good crowd support will boost the Flying Fijians' chances of beating an informed Scottish side. Scotland has beaten Fiji 5 times in their last 6 encounters.
But it's a great opportunity for fans, and I'm just urging fans to come down in white, come and support the Flying Fijians and support them, and hopefully we create another history on Saturday and take Scotland down.
Scotland will not be resting on its laurels when it takes on the Flying Fijians on Saturday. Fresh from upsetting Australia, the visitors say they can't afford to take Fiji lightly as the hosts will be hungry for a home win. Melita Vanga has more.
After beating Australia 24-19 last Saturday, Scotland knows Fiji will bring a different challenge.
It'll be tough. They had a good win, obviously, against Italy at the weekend. They've got a lot of really good players playing across the world now, and they're always hard. They always play fast rugby and hard rugby.
The Scots have analysed the videos of Fiji's games against Australia and Italy and have been trying to identify any chinks in the armour and potential threats.
Rugby's play really fast rugby. They're very good at moving the ball fast. But the same as the Fijians, you guys offload like no other team in the world probably. So I think for us is to try and stop that, try and keep hold of the ball ourselves.
Meanwhile, the Scottish team will have some new fans for Saturday after their school's visit today.
The privileges of touring is to meet other cultures and to be involved in the community. The players themselves love being involved with children and taking the game too.
The children have been very excited, and the staff also, and this is the first time that a rugby team has visited our school, so everyone's so excited about it.
The Scottish will not back down and will try to maintain their unbeaten run when they rub shoulder to shoulder against the Flying Fijians on Saturday. Melita Vanga, FBC Sports.
Portugal beat Russia 1-0 in its 2017 Confederations Cup Group A game earlier today. The winning goal coming from captain Cristiano Ronaldo. That's it from sports this evening. Join Angie later on with weather. And in the world of the weird and the wonderful, take a look at how doctors are using artificial intelligence to identify cancer cells. That's coming up.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Si kombinasyon mo tikola ndo talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Ayaw ko yago sila tale, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gagawin na sabali, nagudurong barong na Radio Fiji 1 ng Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 ng Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.
New types of online scams were revealed by a Chinese security platform this week. The scams were designed with specific target groups in mind, making them even more dangerous. Angie joins us now with the very latest in weather.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. The weather was quite cool with a mixture of sun and rain. It really looks confused itself. One moment there's sunshine and another there's rain. It will be much cooler tonight as we expect heavy showers. Looking at today in the west, it was cloudier but felt much warmer. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, it was quite dry but a batch of showers will move in and might turn heavier. And up in Vanuatu, a much drier day with a fair amount of clouds. At sea, east to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. And for the tides, low tide tonight will be at 10:58 with a high tide tomorrow morning at 5:11. Sunrise will be at 6:37. For tomorrow, we will have a rainy start to our Friday, but all that rain will be blown away by our super cool winds. Tomorrow's temps, Suva will be the coolest center at 27 degrees. And looking ahead to Saturday, it looks pretty clear for our out and about day. And that, Jackie, is FBC weather for tonight.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fijian Pulse today, we asked, should more fans turn up in numbers for the Fiji versus Scotland test match on Saturday?
They should come in numbers to help and support and cheer our team so they can win.
I think it's really important for us to support the Fiji-Scotland rugby match because rugby is like a important philosophy for the country of Fiji now because it brings people together in all walks of life, culture, traditions and religion.
It should be, yeah. We're expecting good turn-up this weekend. Yeah, because of the expectation of the game. Yeah, I don't think the people's opinion should be okay.
Well, I understand Fiji hasn't beat Scotland in a while, so I think if all the fans get out there and show the Flying Fijians we still believe they can finally take on Scotland again, and that I think that will really drive them once they see how much people still believe in them and want to see them beat Scotland.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, artificial intelligence is turning out to be a useful tool for doctors. They're increasingly using complex algorithms to help them diagnose diseases and even create new drugs. Recapping the main story, school children face major anxiety problems in Fiji, partial quarantine at CWM after baby deaths, and Flying Fijians name for Scotland match. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, will the new Health Customer Care Call Centre help improve services? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, today's shot of the day was sent in by Margie Mueller. Beautiful sunset on Bacana Island captured from the Lautoka seawall. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight from the team and I. Good night.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and domoy viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Usi kombinasyon mo tikola untuk tali taka na Radio Fiji 1 kena domoy viti.
Ayaw ko yato sila tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali taki yang gitu Venezuela pun nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and domoy viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 nandumoy viti na bonga ni bienen.